My dad died when I was in 6th grade. And he and my mom had always told my brother and me that you two are going to college, but we're not rich enough to pay for it. You're going to have to figure out how to do that yourselves. My brother told me about this new thing called the Air Force Academy. And he said, they don't charge tuition. In fact, they pay you when you go there. The first time I applied, did fine academically, did fine athletically, but I failed the eye test. I went to civilian university, and during that time, I memorized the eye charts. In those days, every optometrist used the same eye charts. And so I memorized them, because I said, I'm going to get in this place one way or another. And applied again, used my newfound skills at memorizing letters. Line 9, by the way, is the right one. So, it worked. I was truthfully interested in the rocketry side of the Air Force. Space launch, ballistic missiles, that kind of thing. That wasn't until I got my first ride in a jet. That changed all that. But then I said, why can't I do both? Why can't I be an engineer on the space side of the Air Force and be a pilot too? My career plans were just get the master's degree, go to pilot training, go fly jets for the Air Force, and then maybe later on get into the rocket side of the Air Force. And so that was the extent of my career planning when I was a brand new second lieutenant. After pilot training, I stayed in Alabama as an instructor pilot, and the Air Force was going through the post-Vietnam drawdown on pilots. So I went to a non-flying job. Everybody was getting non-flying jobs. And so my first non-flying job was down at Cape Canaveral, launching Air Force military satellites on expendable launch vehicles. And so the Air Force started this payload specialist program where you would be assigned to a particular spacecraft program office. I volunteered for that project, got to join it, ended up flying on the first military flight of the space shuttle program as a payload specialist. At liftoff, they ignite the 2 solid rocket boosters, and that is a kick in the pants. That really gets your attention. And it felt like I was breaking the sound barrier in a paper airplane. Now that's the image that went through my head. And once you're on orbit, it's a very benign, fun environment, truthfully. But again, we had a busy timeline to do for the spacecraft. I'm teaching astronautics in the Astro department as the Schriever Chair. It is an endowed chair. It's very rewarding. Probably the most rewarding time every year is when a cadet asks you to commission them in the Air Force. Getting to swear in a brand new second lieutenant is quite an honor. Truthfully, when you include the shuttle flight and all the other stuff I've done, that's kind of like how this little boy from the Midwest end up doing this suite of diverse things. My main concern is that did I contribute enough? Did I contribute everything I could have? It's hard for me to believe I belong in the same category of folks as Paul Kaminsky or Kevin Chilton. And it's, again, very humbling honor, truthfully. Second Squadron Air Officer Commanding was Major Gary Tompkins. All of us who graduated with me owe a lot to Colonel Gary Tompkins. So an immense amount goes to my brother. Additionally, our daughter, she's been a joy to our life since she was born, and a real motivating factor to grandchildren that Sue and I enjoy. And then, of course, my wife, Sue. She's got as many credentials as I do. She's achieved as much in her life as I have, probably more. Meeting her and then asking her to be my wife was the smartest thing I ever did. And nowadays when I say we or our, it is really plural. We are a team, shoulder to shoulder. And none of this would have been possible without her.